Good evening. My name is Rabia Finch Lewis, and I'm here with Dr. Charles S. Finch. We hope that you all had a wonderful holiday. We're here in the first of, the beginning of 2019. We're hoping that this is going to be a wonderful year for all of you. Tonight's topic is going to be a new topic, actually, the Imperial Age of West African History. It's going to be at least 3 parts. We're going to cover the empires of Ghana, the Songhai Empire, and the Empire of Mali. So without further ado, I'll let Dr. Finch get started since we're going to have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, good evening, and we're not going to be able to talk about all of it tonight. I think of this presentation as a 3-part presentation, as has been mentioned by Rabia, the Imperial Age of West African History, Ghana, Mali, and Songhai. Starting about somewhere between 200 to 300 AD and ending 1596 AD with the fall of Songhai due to the invasions of the Moroccans. But we start with Ghana. All right. Now, Ghana is a name we know in modern times because it was a name that Kwame Nkrumah chose for his newly decolonized, newly liberated country. But because Ghana, even back in 1957, had a kind of, what do you want to say? It was the glory, one of the glorious age of Africa, glorious age of West Africa. But Ghana, interestingly enough, was never the name of a country at all, ever. Not even back when there was a Ghanaian empire, empire of Ghana, I should say. Ghana was the name of the king of a country called Aukar, A-O-U-K-A-R. The king, or the supreme ruler, was named Ghana. But they had, from about 400 or 500 AD, they had established trade relations, and we'll get into that, with the North Africa, with the Berber people and the Arab people. And it was them who took the name of the king and applied it to the entire country. Well, we see this in South America because that's what happened with the Incas. The Inca was the name of the king or the ruler, the emperor, but it became, in Spanish hands, the name of the entire people. Now, Ghana, we will call that, or Aukar, can trace its history, its historical lineage, back to somewhere between 300 and 400 AD, perhaps earlier, okay? In fact, probably earlier, but let's just stay with that because that's what the standard histories say, all right? And the people, as I say, the people were the people, they were the Soninke people. We'll talk about them again. Their country was called by them Aukar, all right? Their capital was Kumbi. And their empire was situated between the Senegal River in the west and the Niger River in the east. Even though it was a substantial empire, the subsequent empires of what I call the Imperial Age, Mali and Songhai, were larger, much larger. And it's a fascinating period of West African history generally, and West African history in particular.
I just want to say somebody's here watching from Ghana, so that's exciting.
Yeah, it is. It is indeed.
For tuning in.
Yes. Now, Aukar, or what we today refer to as Ghana, they had a couple of things going for them that was at the root of their, shall we say, historical climb. One was they mastered the making of steel. People say it was an iron age. It was not the iron age. It was the steel age. What is steel? Steel is iron that is mixed in the right proportions with carbon. And it gives that iron, turning into steel, about 3 to 5 times its hardness. And that not only was it a hard implement and tool and weapon, but it was very sharp. So they were at an advantage vis-a-vis all the other peoples around them, okay, militarily speaking. Also, the thing that drives West African history at this point is gold. Lots of gold. Most of the gold, nearly all, in fact, all of it came not from Ghana itself, but from south of Ghana in the forested regions. All right, that's where the gold was mined. That's the people who had the gold. But why did Ghana profit? Because again, it was a middleman between the forested gold producers in Inner Africa and the Arab and Berbers and Europeans in the north. Middlemen are the ones who always make the biggest profits, and that's kind of the way it was with Ghana. And they developed as a people and as a country they developed a talent for organization, political organization. And they slowly became more powerful, more organized. They began to, shall we say, incorporate other peoples into their country and into their empire. And it was the first major West African empire. Now, the people from the North Africans, Arabs, etc., not Europeans. Europeans had to get whatever they got from Africa, gold, they had to get through North Africa, okay? But obviously they were drawn by the gold. Lots of gold. Now, let's just give you an idea about this gold, because it was very important. First of all, the kings of Ghana, they would monopolize all the nuggets of gold. They would let their people, if they could mine them, have all the gold, not powder, not gold powder, can't think of it, But the nuggets they kept. Why? Because they had so much gold. If they left the nuggets in circulation, what would happen with the price of gold? Boom, it would plummet. So they kept the price artificially high by, monopolizing the nuggets. Gold dust. That's what I want to say. Yeah, gold dust.
Into my mind,
yeah, gold dust. Now, I don't know that it was Ghana or one of the later empires. There was a nugget so big that the king could tether his horse around it. There's never been gold to that extent anywhere else in the world. I mean, not that other places didn't have gold. Even Europe had a little bit of gold, but not to the extent that you found in West Africa. Not at all. And it was at the source, and it was the source of the wealth that accrued first to Ghana and then to the later empires as well. So, and Ghana lasted, let me see, 12, let me get this right now. 1096, Ghana lasted as an empire about 700 or 800 years. Now, it was a very they had developed a very, shall we say, complex and sophisticated administration. The kings of Ghana had an army of 200,000 soldiers, 40,000 of them armed with bows and arrows. All right, so it was a very, very, what do you want to say? A very, very powerful kingdom. Mm-hmm. Now, there was one other thing.
Someone asked if they use cowrie shells too as currency.
I didn't think they didn't need to. There's so much gold, and that's what people were coming to them for, was the gold. Now, I'm not saying cowrie shells did come into play as currency. That's true. They were needed for other things. For sure. They would use them for what do you want to call it? Decorations, jewelry. So yes. So no, the gold was the major driving force behind the rise of Ghana. But as I say, what enabled them to expand militarily, so to speak, was their mastery of steel making and creation of steel implements. Right? So that, as I said, it attracted the trade interest with North Africa. Now, what that meant is that all of the gold in North Africa and in Europe came from West Africa. All of it.
Oh, Lord.
Yes.
All of it.
So, I mean, what I'm saying is that, and we're going to talk about this when we talk about Mansa Musa, for that 1,000 years or so, there was no richer place in the world. If you say that gold is a measure of monetary wealth, There was no richer place anywhere else in the world.
And what does the Empire of Ghana, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it, what did it comprise of? The size,
Like I said,
countries?
it was most of the center of it. The Kumbi Saleh was the actual capital, and it was 200 miles north of what is now Bamako. So if you can imagine where Mali is now, and oh shoot, what's next to Mali?
Y'all gotta help us out.
To the east. Oh, come on, I shouldn't be that. Anyway, there, as I said before, Ghana occupied that area between the Senegal River in the west and the Niger River in the east. And the Senegal River, the reason why it's called now the Senegal River, because it formed the northern border of what we now call Senegal. Now, as I said, these people were ethnically, they were the Soninke. The Soninke. Now, we come back to them later on when we do the third of this series around the Songhai, you see. I've already mentioned it was Ghana, Mali, and Songhai. And this, as I say, was the imperial age of Africa. Now, what brought Ghana down? It was mostly an invasion from the north. Okay. The invasion was a people called the Almoravids. The Almoravids. The Almoravids were the ones who their leader actually set up it's not a monastery, I think they call it a rabat. Those of you who have more of a Muslim frame of mind, you can tell me what it is. And he settled on the Senegal River. And because of his reputation for piety, he began to attract followers. And his followers became so numerous that he was moved to use his emerging strength to begin a campaign of conquest, religiously motivated conquest, to bring, to impose or spread Islam all over that part of Africa, but not just that part of Africa. No.
Yeah, I knew Islam had a part in it.
You know where else the Almoravids went? Spain.
Spain. Oh, yeah.
Europe and southern France.
Oh,
Now,
yeah, that sounds
why is that interesting? Because there's a Spanish, what do you want to call, epic story called El Cid. Some of you, there's a movie that was made in the 60s with Charlton Heston of all people, El Cid. Why? Cid was the Spanish. He first fought with the Muslims, the Almoravids, and then fought for Spain against them later on.
Does this have anything to do with the Moors?
Yes, it very definitely did have.
That's how I know that.
It very definitely did have something to do with the Moors, because the Moors had conquered Spain in about 711 A.D. and had conquered all of Spain, Moorish Spain.
So they're first or second?
I'm sorry, what was that?
So they are before the Almoravids or after?
Oh, they're before the Moravids,
Okay.
the Almoravids, okay? But the Almoravids were like the second or even third wave of conquest.
Wow.
First of all, they conquered Ghana, or conquered the city of Kumbe. They took it, all right?
Somebody said Niger was the...
Niger, yeah. You say Niger.
Oh, Niger, sorry.
But
Okay.
Niger, if you want, yeah. From which Nigeria and the Niger River comes, Niger. We say, if you're there, you say Niger. Thank you for that. But the Almoravids conquered that part of Africa and into Spain. They conquered Kumbi Saleh and much of Ghana and precipitated the decline and fall of Ghana, basically. But the Almoravids themselves didn't last long. All right? After that initial wave of conquest and Islamization, wherever they went, they themselves started, collapsing. Now, but they did conquer Spain, all right? And if you go see the movie, I mean, it's a Hollywood movie, but it has historical references. Or rent it. You would rent the movie, I guess, on Netflix. El Cid. And all you have to do is look up Charlton Heston because he plays El Cid. And Sophia Loren is in it too. Okay, it's a little bit off the subject, but it does kind of touch on what we're talking about. So Ghana was therefore the first of those major West African empires that launched the imperial era or the imperial age of West African history. And let's talk a little bit about about what made the government wealthy. What made them wealthy, of course, is that they attracted trade, international trade. And so they had but they taxed that trade. They had the ability to tax that trade, and they did. So all the goods that went out of Ghana, anywhere else, were taxed 1 gold piece. Let's see, let me get this right now. No, it's the other way around. Any goods that came into Ghana
coming in
was taxed 1 gold piece. Any goods going out of Ghana were taxed 2 gold pieces. All of that was government revenue.
Oh, wow.
So that's that's how they had, shall we say, the monetary the wealth and the monetary wherewithal to run an empire. All right. Their administration. Oh, one other thing too about this gold. I knew there was something I was forgetting. A couple of things about that gold. They would have these pages surrounding them. The kings would. They'd have maybe a dozen pages. A page. These are young men who are in the process of becoming knights. What do they call them? And their hair was braided with gold. Then they had these huge, beautiful dogs. And the dogs had everything around them. This is Ghana now, in gold. And then this one king had 1,000 horses. And the bridle reins of the horses were all of silk. For these horses now, 1,000 of them. And the horses had silk carpets that they could lay down on and sleep at night.
Yeah, wealth.
Yeah, and luxury.
Luxury, yes.
Yeah, so. And this was what the court of Ghana was like. And after the Arabs and the Muslims came in, the kings allowed them to come in and trade and settle for the purposes of, shall we say, stimulating trade. But there were always 2 cities, 6 miles apart. There was the capital city, Kumbe, and then the Arabs and the so-called Berbers had their own city 6 miles away. All right? And the king allowed it, because the trade with the North was essential for their own economic prosperity and development. And as I said, all the gold that you saw in Europe we're not even going to talk about the Arab world, came from there. And of course, excited the eventual greed of a lot of different people. And again, we will touch on that in subsequent discussions about these West African empires. This was kind of, as I say, this was the last, I hate to say it's the last gasp of African civilization, and I'm overstretching the point. But the Moors, the Moroccans, came in and conquered large parts of Africa, including Ghana. No, I'm sorry. I'm getting myself all turned around with my mouth. They conquered Songhai in 1596. So how long was that? That was 500 years ago. And Africa has been in a state of
decline.
Well, yeah, ever since then. Okay,
Driven by imperialism.
Yeah, yeah. In this case, Moroccan and Islamic imperialism. All right, and anyway. No, we're going to come to that next time about Mali. I think may have already mentioned this, but we're going to mention it again. Mali had developed a navy and a merchant marine.
No, I don't think. Oh, yeah, we may have.
And where one of those Malian kings, and we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves because this is our next lecture, where they sent some of that merchant marine to the Americas across the Atlantic. This was almost 200 years before Columbus. Okay. So there's so much. The book, I've already mentioned this book in previous previous presentations, but I would commend it to your attention. They came before Columbus by my friend, late friend, Ivan Van Sertima.
Awesome.
So, anyway, but I think we're just introducing this discussion by a reference to Ghana, and like I said, it was brought to the world's attention, the European attention as well, by the Islamic world because of the trade, and they were attracted by the seemingly unlimited amounts of gold that they could trade for in Ghana. That was just a start, by the way. That continued for another 1,000 years. That gold trade. Just remember, the gold didn't come from Ghana itself. It came from south of Ghana in the forested regions, but Ghana was the middleman, and so and the other empires that would come later on played the role of middlemen. Remember what I said before, and everyone knows that it's a middleman who makes the money.
Yeah, you said that.
And this is what happened with Ghana, okay, and the other empires, but they got a lot of gold. Like I said, the gold, they only let the gold dust go to the people.
Okay.
The nuggets were monopolized by the king. And as I say, one of those kings, I'm not sure which, had a nugget so huge, I've already mentioned this, he could tether his horse to it. And the horses were wrapped in silk and gold. The dogs were wrapped in silk and gold. The pages had gold plated into their hair. Just give you some sense of how plentiful gold was and how they used it. So, as I say, this is, how can I say this? This should be an essential part of the history lesson of every black child, not just in America, in the world. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the world. I didn't learn any of this until I was in college.
Yeah.
But in the world, you see. And then, one of the things that we're trying, not just me, others are as well, are in the process of recreating a historical perspective. That it was taken away from us, and we have to kind of recreate it, relearn it, find it again, recreate it, because only by studying history does anyone know what he or she is capable of.
Oh, yes. Awesome.
Only history can teach you that.
Yeah.
And so that's the reason why, and that's been known by everybody except us. And so when they take away our history, we just let it go. I don't want to hear that African stuff.
Oh, no.
I don't believe any of that African stuff. How many of you have heard that said?
Someone just said that he was told there weren't any Africans before Columbus, but we just mentioned the book that documents that, like, very, very detailed way. They came before Columbus.
They came before Columbus.
You
and
there have them and yourself
and
that book.
And there are other books. Van Sertima also published an anthology of a lot of authors who deal with that subject, okay? People think that before Columbus sailed across the ocean blue, nobody else was sailing anywhere. Nobody else was going on the ocean, and the ocean was never a barrier. The ocean was a highway. Not just the Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean, and the Pacific Ocean, too. How do you think those Tonganese got to Hawaii, 3,000 miles away from Tonga? They were masters of waveforms, winds, and reading the stars. They were master navigators. So the idea that nobody could sail across the ocean purposefully until 1492 is just one of those comfortable fictions that people just accept and repeat without any knowledge whatsoever, out of ignorance. So anyway, that's how we're going to start our three-part series. Maybe Rabia can tell you when we're going to meet again.
Just one other question I wanted to address. Did Ghana have more gold than Nubia?
Yes.
That area?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. That's not a bad. That's a good question. Why what does Nubia mean?
Gold.
Nubia comes from the Egyptian word nub, which means gold. Mm-hmm. So Egypt got its gold through Nubia from the inner parts of Africa, but not even Nubia and or Egypt had the kind of gold that West Africa had. They just had more gold than I mean, it was just commonplace. It's like, I don't know, what would be a comparison in this day and age?
Paper.
It was just so much gold in West Africa at that time, all right? And so they used it into their hair. They would wear gold, literally not just gold looking. I mean, actual gold that was woven into their clothes. They would put gold on their dogs, on their horses. Rich, fabulously wealthy.
All right, we're gonna wrap up at that. Do you have any upcoming lectures
In Atlanta?
Yeah, in Atlanta.
No, let's see, no, I don't have any that have been scheduled, but very often let me just say no, I don't have any scheduled lectures at this time, and I'll just leave it at that.
So make sure you let us know.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can announce that. And we can reconvene for part 2 on Mali, the Empire of Mali. And I should have, well, that's my phone right there, so I can't look at my calendar. But in 2 weeks, basically.
2 weeks.
In the
It should be 2 weeks,
not
yes.
next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after next. Wait, that's gonna be. Is that gonna be the day after Martin Luther King?
Yeah, you're right. It is the day after Martin Luther King. So if you don't want to do it on the
No,
day after, we could do it that way. Huh?
No, I think that should be fine.
Okay. Okay, because we could do that Tuesday. I would like not to go too. Well, we had to have a break this time because of the holidays.
Yeah.
I would like to do it in
real
2 weeks.
busy.
If not 2 weeks from today, then 2 weeks from tomorrow, which is Wednesday.
Yeah,
But
so
I
it'll
did-
be,
I don't think it should interfere with Martin
possible
Luther King because
Wednesday,
it's
but we're shoot for Tuesday.
it shouldn't interfere with the Martin Luther King holiday. So.
Oh, welcome from Luxembourg. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed that, as I did. And again, we'll be back. Someone said, okay, that's the 22nd of January. Great, thank you. To discuss the next part of this series on
The Empire of Mali.
The Empire, yeah, and the West African saga. Thank you so much.